everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, we will be developing a Spring application from the scratch, and you can apply the same steps whenever you want to create a Spring application from the scratch using Maven project. So first, see, you can either use STS or you can use Eclipse. Any IDE is fine. So first, let me create the project, new. I want the Maven project here. So I want to skip the archetype. See, I do not want any archetype. Basically, it has the templates which are related to the Maven and the dependencies. I do not want anything. So that is the reason I just checked this. Create a simple project. So as known in a Maven project, you need to provide the group ID and artifact ID for the unique identification of every project. So I'll specify here as Spring Scratch. So I'll be giving a Spring Scratch. Let me give the artifact ID also as same. So this is the version which is, and you want to package it as a jar. You do not want to R or whichever. So finish. Let it create it. So it has created the project. Here you can see small M letter, so which says like it's a Maven and Java project. See, first let us set the dependency. See, this is just a Maven project. It does not have any dependency. As already known, the Spring framework is provided to us in the form of the jar files and the dependencies, and these dependencies need to be automatically downloaded from the Maven central repository. Okay, so where you specify the dependencies means you specify in the pom.xml. So let's go and take a look at it, and let us specify the Spring dependencies which we want to add. Right, see, if you see here, you have this version and artifact ID and all that. Okay, right. So now I just want to have the dependencies here. So in this, I want to specify the dependency as the Spring context. See, Spring context is nothing but basically it has the Spring core functionality in that. So you need not write the dependency from the scratch. Actually, you can go to the Maven central repository. See, I'm going to the Maven, Maven, and you can just say like Spring context. Okay. So let's go there to the Spring context. As known, the latest version of the Spring is 5.x. Okay. Right. So I'll be going to 5.0.10, that 5.0.10. So if you go here, you will directly get the dependency. So you can try to copy this dependency. So this is for Gradle and other build tools. So we'll be using Maven as known. So I'm specifying the dependency here. See, once you save this file, so what the Maven will do is it will automatically download the jar files of this specific Spring context, and it will place in the local repository. Fine. So let me save this. Please observe down bottom right, you can see a green progress bar. So it is downloading the Spring core related jar files. And if you see now here, we a new folder got created, which is Maven dependencies, which has all the C. See, basically this has boiled down to multiple jar files. If you see like core, AOP, context, expression, etc. Fine, right. So before you creating this, before you adding this dependency and saving this file, you didn't have the Maven dependencies folder here. Fine. So this is the way how you add the Spring to your project. Next, let's create the functionality what we want. So basically I want a simple main method, and I want to have a simple Pojo class, and I want to create that as a bean, and I want to load it as a Spring Bean in my main application. Okay, so that is my objective. So first let me try to create a new package. So I'll name the package name as maybe some com.eg. Next, after that, as known, we need a XML file where we register all the beans. Okay, so even before that, you can try to create a simple Pojo class, that is plain old Java object, basically a simple class which may have some data members and it can have some methods. Fine. So let me go and I'm creating a class, and I will name it as some XYZ email or whichever. Okay, so basically this class is used for sending the emails. And I can have the constructor XYZ email. So I'll just put a simple log in this. Okay, and I'll have a method to send mail. So I'll just put a state log saying that sending email. Okay, and one more, maybe if you are receiving email, some functionality we are just adding. Okay, so I'm not adding more functionality to keep it simple, because once you get hold of this, it is easy to do any other Spring Core related functionality. Okay, fine. It is easy to add any other Spring Core related functionality or features to this. Next, I need a XML file which will specify the bean related information. So let me try to create the XML file, and I'll name it as, you can name it, you can give the name whichever you want. I'll just say beans.xml. Okay, or my beans.xml, whichever. So new, and basically it is a file, right? So I'll be taking as a file, I'll name it as beans, okay, dot xml. So it got created. Great. See, generally in the XML file we specify from where we get the tags and all. Say for example, if you are using bean tag, so where is the definition of it? So we try to specify that in the beginning few lines. So you need not write that from scratch. So rather you can try to get it from some other existing references or projects or whichever. Okay, so I'm trying to get from one of the project which is existing. So I'm just pasting that snippet here. So we are opening the bean stack. Let me try to close it here. Right, it got closed. Fine. Now we need to specify this XYZ email class as a bean. Okay. So let us do that. For that, we have a XML element. We have a XML element as bean. Okay. So let us try to use that. Bean. See, for this bean, we need to specify the ID. So let's give the ID as, so basically this is the ID of this bean, and this ID is being used in the source code to create this bean. Okay, so we will be requesting from the source code to the Spring Framework. So the Spring Framework will, in the runtime, it will come and check into this file to check which is the mapped class. Okay, so the class here is, so we need to use the class attribute, and it is in the package com.eg dot, the name is XYZ email. So in case there is a mismatch, we get an exception, okay, not the compiler error, because this is loaded in the runtime. Fine. So scope, by default it will be singleton actually, so I specified as being. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not sending any arguments, parameter through the through the constructor or through the setter method. I'm just keeping it simple. Basically, in this example, we are exploring how to create it from scratch. So if there is any additional functionality, you can add to this. Okay, fine. Now let us create the main method for this. So I'll name it as main app, new class. I'll name it as main app. Fine. Now we can start writing the code for this main app. So let me add the main method first. Now, first we need to load the XML file. Okay, see, then only the Spring Framework will get to know that which XML file to load. So we'll be using class path resource. Here we need to specify the name of the XML file. It is mybeans.xml. Done. Next, resource are equal to new. Okay, see, basically all these are the classes which are available in Spring Framework. So we can try to import. So as you see here, it is org.springframework. So how it is automatically taking is whichever class path, in whichever there are equivalent names. Okay, so all those it will show in this. Okay, so that we can try to import. Next, now we need to use something called bean factory. Basically, this helps to create any bean in the runtime. Okay, so let me create the bean factory. So we need to specify the resource which is there. So it is, so let us try to import the required packages. Next, let us request the Spring Framework about the bean. So how to request is factory.getBean, and you can specify the ID of the bean. See, I think we specified the ID in the mybills.xml as the mail. So I'm requesting with mail, and it will be returning XYZ email. Okay. See, basically this is not an object. This is a bean. So bean means basically it is an object which is being created and managed by the Spring framework. See, here we are getting an error. The reason is this is actually returning an object which is a base class of all classes, but I want to have it in. So let me try to do a typecasting here. Okay, fine. So now I have the bean in my hand. I can try to invoke whichever functionality which is required. Okay, so first I'll just try to send mail. Okay, then I'll try to receive the mail. Basically, you can try to invoke any functionality which is associated with this. So let us try to run this. I think we have all the ingredients which are required. So I'm just trying to run this application. Yes. So we are done in one shot. Okay. See, generally, what are the common problems means? It may happen that you place this XML in a different path. See, some of them directly they put it in here. Okay, in com.eg. No, that time it doesn't recognize that. Fine. So just see that it is in the src main Java. And one more mistake what we do is here we may give this package name, some will give without package name. Okay, so it can't recognize. So I'm just trying to remove it, and let me try to rerun it. It doesn't recognize. So these are the common mistakes. See, it didn't recognize. Fine. So in an application there will be multiple beans which we'll be exploring in the coming lectures. Thank you.